Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome to another Indie Game Friday, where each week I take a look at a different independent computer role-playing game. This week I'm taking a look at a sort of 2D action platformer with RPG elements, multi-genre hybrid type game, Aegis Defenders. Developed by Guts Department and published by Humble Games, it was released back in February of 2018. Aegis is an odd one. It straddles a lot of genres, and I'm not sure how well it does at that. I expected it to have a stronger RPG component from the descriptions, but even with what it was, it does have some degree of character advancement and limited customization. It is primarily a multi-character, side-scrolling platformer, but each character can have different weapons and construction skills, the latter of which can be leveled up, and advancement through the story will unlock more. Further, each stage finishes with a sort of tower defense section, so it adds a little bit of that into the mix. In terms of plot, the story begins in some sort of post-apocalyptic Dark Ages, where a young woman and her grandfather, both ruin hunters, search the wilderness for the scraps of ancient technology, eking out an existence beyond the borders of an expansionist empire. Eventually, their explorations uncover a still-active robot who begins to lead them onward towards an ancient weapon. Play is pretty much divided into three main phases. The first two are the exploration and tower defense phases, and the third is the camp phase. The exploration phase and the tower defense phase take place on individual map areas. They're basically 2D platforming levels with various enemies and resources, scattered relics to pick up, and a number of puzzles, be they switch puzzles, puzzles involving various destructible terrain, and so on. Characters can move left and right, jump down, duck, and use their weapons. There's even a command to command your partner to stand in place for certain puzzles, as well as switch between characters as necessary. At the start, the young woman has a ranged weapon, and the father has a melee weapon. Each of these two characters is associated with a different color, as are most enemies. If a character's color matches an enemy's, they do triple damage, so it can be advantageous to have the right character attack the right enemy. Characters also have a health bar, represented by a number of hearts, which can be replenished when you pick up hearts on the screen, usually from destroying certain flowers or other items. You can also pick up various RP points and chips to use as currency during the camp phase. Relics you can find during a level don't generally grant abilities, but rather count towards a total which grants additional bonuses at the end of a level. Both can also build items with resources, which can be collected by destroying various nodes on the map. You can carry a limited number of each resource, although this may be increased as the game goes on. Entering the building menu allows you to place an object on any of the 4 squares immediately adjacent to the character. Items are generally made by building already built squares with additional blocks. For instance, having the grandfather character build a structure once creates a barrier. Building on that barrier again will create a turret. Each item in the game also has a sort of recipe, some of which are unlocked automatically, some of which are purchased, that basically represent the number of blocks that you spend in each individual item. Later on, you can even learn combination recipes, allowing characters to work together to build more advanced mechanisms. At certain points in the level, the tower defense phase starts. The tower defense phase basically consists of a series of waves of enemies in which the two must defend a central point from enemies that arrive from portals. Before each wave, you have about a minute to run around, gather resources that may potentially respawn, and build structures. The combination of traps and turrets that you can build can be placed in the paths of oncoming enemies, and the portals that are active for the next wave are clearly marked, so you can try to anticipate which one will work best. During a particular wave, you can certainly run out to attack enemies manually as well to help secure the place. Each tower defense goal has a certain amount of life that ticks down whenever enemies reach it, so try not to fail in that regard. Once you complete a level, you get a quick summary screen that gives you a list of what bonuses you've reached. This generally consists of RP points and chips. The camp phase is between levels and basically where you upgrade your characters and save the game. In camp, you can use the RP points to unlock new recipes or upgrade current ones, allowing you to effectively customize which traps or structures you really want to concentrate on during the tower defense phase and which ones are best for fighting enemies. You can also buy weapons and tools, either upgrades for each character's basic weapon or alternate weapons that grant alternate attack routines. You may also occasionally purchase other upgrades for your wallet, for instance, that allows you to collect more resources. You can also save the game here. During both camp and exploration phases, you can occasionally be presented with dialogue with other NPCs. This can grant you additional RP points when you select certain options and gives you the ability to really give some personality to your character through their choices. Graphically, it has a clean, cartoonish art style with a pretty cohesive presentation. The music is pretty decent as well, as is the sound design in general. About the only real issue I had with the experience was the controls. I very much recommend a controller over any sort of keyboard arrangement. It is playable with a keyboard, but it's not pleasant. All in all, it's not really a proper RPG, but more akin to one of the RPG Lite style titles that I cover from time to time. An odd mix of platformer and tower defense game, the RPG elements just really aren't deep enough to really make it a regular entry in this series, but oh well, I'd already played it for a bit and I was running out of time for a game this week. I definitely wouldn't recommend it at the base price, but if you do find it on sale, then it might be worth picking up if you're into this sort of thing. And on that note, I'm going to wrap it up here. This has been the RPG Crawler with Indie Game Friday, Aegis Defenders. As always, I'll put a link to where you can pick it up below. If you like what you've seen, remember to leave a like, comment if you got any feedback, and subscribe for more RPG content, both tabletop and computer. Until next time, take care and goodbye. And if you're still watching this far, I'd like to take a moment to thank those who have supported this channel via Patreon or direct donations throughout the years, without which this channel could not have lasted as long as it has. For those who are feeling particularly generous, you can still support my work through Patreon and now through Subscribestar as well, through the links in the description below.